On the last week, gold traded as low as 1673 and as high as 1747. Numbers are rounded, and the market is closed. And on the last trading session of Friday, gold closed at 1681, below the closing price of the last week. For the daily simple moving averages, as you see, we are stretched away from the main daily simple moving averages, and I think gold needs to come back and at least retest the 20 days or 50 days daily simple moving average. For the RSI readings, it's moderate in all the charts. In fact, it's overbought on the monthly chart, which, as I say always, is a good indication. For the supports are seen about 1662. If it's not holding, then 1643. If it's not holding, then 1618. And for the resistance levels, it's located at 1703, the old high, and followed by 1738. Then the high that we have for this year is 1747. That's all. I'll move on now to the calendar. On the economic calendar for the coming week and from the United States, we are waiting for the following economic headers to be released: the jobs data, the jobless claims, all will be released on Thursday, and the new home sales also to be released on Thursday, and the core durable goods orders on Friday. That's all for the economic calendar. We'll move on now to the trading strategy. Hi again. We are all familiar with the term natural selection, which is to simplify that the nature will choose the fittest to stay and to prosper. And or if you want to put it in a very simple language, you can say survival for the fittest. Uh, Also, the economy does the same thing. The strong economy will do, especially in a time of a crisis like what we have right now, should do the same, should do some sort of a natural selection, which by which I mean the strongest companies, the most efficient companies should have the chance to survive this crisis and to prosper later on after the crisis is a part of the history. However, we have different thing from the nature that we have the human intervention, and by which I refer to the multi-trillion dollars programs that have been done by all the governments around the world to bail out the companies and to buy back the bonds and to push more liquidity into the system on the hope that this liquidity could uh, negate the negative impact of the crisis that we have at the moment. But if you will put the things into the right order, the best solution for this crisis was to leave the economy without any bailing out, okay, and leave these companies to find new, better managers who can do the business in another way, in a more efficient way, and this is how things should go. As I said, this particular crisis is offering a chance, and the chance is for the companies and the individuals as well to restructure. Either I'm talking about companies to restructure their way of how to carry out their businesses and how to do it in a more efficient way. For individuals also to restructure their expenses and to restructure their sources of income. However, the intervention that have been done by governments, unfortunately, they are trying to bail out companies and individuals from a money that they don't own. We all know that the governments all around the world are in deep shit debt, and they are just printing money out of the thin air. And the problem is that you are borrowing money from the future. This is what the governments are literally doing at the moment, and they are already in debt before borrowing this additional money from the future. So this remedy is fated to fail, and the inflation is going to spark to levels that haven't been seen before, and this environment is highly good for real assets, especially gold and silver. Back to gold, the story with gold that for gold, in order to break out, and by breakout I means that gold reach like 2600 or 2900. In order for gold to break out, it needs other related assets to gold to break out along with gold, and we are focused here at gold stocks. Those stocks gives indication of whether gold can break out or still can't. If you'll take GDX as an example, it attempted to break out above $32, but it failed, and though the stock market rallied after this attempt, GDX failed to re-attempt to take 32 and closed below 30, and this has something to tell you. What it tells us is that there is something we shouldn't neglect, that investors are still having hopes on the stock market, and the conclusion that we need the equity market to end up this bear market rally that we are having at the moment. And when the investors realize that there is no more hopes in the stocks, they will all jump into real assets, and on top of them is gold and silver, and they could easily double, triple, or go 5, 6 times or 10 times. I'm talking about silver here. Will this happen? In my opinion, this is going to happen soon, because the rally in the stock market is very similar to the one that we have had into ahead of the tech bubble. People were piling up tech stocks, and on the hope that these companies are going to double, triple in the value. But when the results came out, they did not even make profits, and they are ended up in lose, and everyone sold their stocks, and the market crashed. And I'm expecting this to happen again this time. Now, for trading purposes, gold futures, if it closes below 1680 on daily basis, it will confirm breakdown. Then gold will be looking for a retest of 1600. Odds at the moment are favoring the downside, but notice that gold already closed above 1730 last week, which means the downside is very limited in my opinion. In fact, there will be a chance to buy in a supported weakness. To summarize, if there is a close below 1680, sell with a stop loss at 1701, and the take a profit will be 1612, or buy between 1550 to 1600 with a sell at 1515, and your take a profit should be as high as 1850. Gold, in my opinion, is going to be supported this time, because investors have realized that the governments have nothing into their hands than printing money and bullshitting us with like, okay, we have a medicine, we are working on a vaccine. Guys, this virus is going to take its time. The virus is going to decide if life is going to come back normal or no. And we have finished maybe wave 1. Will be, I hope no, but according to scientists, there will be wave 2 or wave 3 also before a vaccine is out. So this way of living at the moment, wearing a mask, social distancing, this is the new way of living, and this is going to affect businesses, and this is very supportive for real assets, as I said, especially gold. So maybe I'm not into the idea of selling gold, but if you want to sell with a stop loss, as I explained, and look for buying the dip. That's all. Be safe. I'll see you next week in another video.